You're tuning into Black and White Sports on YouTube. The no-holds-barred truth on sports. The main event starts now.
Black and White Sports fans, the most unreliable source when it comes to news is CNN, Cable News Network, or as I call them, the Clown News Network or the Communist News Network. They're not a real news network. All they are is propaganda to preach a leftist agenda. Now, how does this actually tie into sports and the Super Bowl? Well, I'm glad you asked. As you guys know, during the Super Bowl, there was a lot of black performers at the Super Bowl, the halftime show, the pregame show. But CNN, for them, it was not enough. It was not enough because the NFL, even though they had Dr. Dre, Snoop Dogg, etc., they weren't focusing on the right narrative for Woke CNN. Check this out, guys. Over here on Outkick, Woke CNN guest is mad how NFL used black performers at Super Bowl. You'll see here the NFL's use of black performers during the Super Bowl was, quote, a little bit like putting a Band-Aid on a tumor, according to a woke CNN guest. Oh, this is funny. Who is mad at how the league used black performers Sunday night in Los Angeles. Now, there is a clip here. And the main reason, guys, why they got triggered, essentially it came down to that the NFL did not focus on Colin Kaepernick enough. Yes, because if you watch the pregame show, the NFL actually had a montage of early black NFL players from I guess 1930s or 40s. I'm not sure. That's way before my time. And they acknowledge their families on the field. But for CNN, the main focus was they didn't focus on Colin Kaepernick and his communist lies. So let's go ahead and let's roll this clip here, man. And the two people in question is the black man on the left and the black lady on the right here. They're triggered. They're absolutely triggered. But let's go ahead and listen in to what they had to say. Yes, you're going to lose 2 minutes of your life. Listen to this. Let's roll it.
I thought it was an exciting game, but the whole thing felt to me like an extended version of, We Don't Talk About Bruno, where, there's one thing people are really talking about, but no one mentions him by name because all of the tributes had to do with, trailblazers and people who were fighting against the power, like Mary singing "Lift Every Voice and Sing," and having Black country star Mickey Guyton singing the national anthem, and having Billie Jean King do the coin flip, and yet nobody actually mentioned the guy that really helped inspire protests at the NFL level, and that was Colin Kaepernick. So,
yeah, Colin Kaepernick is the one that caused NFL ratings to decline. He wasn't actually furthering the NFL in any way. Guys, when we tune into the Super Bowl, when you tune into sports, you're there for the entertainment only, not for political protests.
I guess Colin Kaepernick was our Bruno last night.
Mara?
Yeah, it was disappointing that Eminem was the only one who took a knee because it showed that none of the others were willing to take a position on the unspoken, as CJ pointed out. But I also think it's really important to acknowledge, in the context of talking about Eminem, what a huge night this was for hip hop. I mean, you cannot overlook the fact that this was the first time you had an all hip hop lineup performing at the Super Bowl. You have these icons of West Coast rap performing in LA, and it was one of the best performances ever. But while it's important to recognize and acknowledge that it was a good night for hip hop, it's also important to recognize that it was a bad day for the movement because the NFL was able to successfully use black performers to distract black audiences from the issues that are important to them without making any meaningful change whatsoever. It's a little bit like putting a Band-Aid on a tumor.
Okay. Now, when it comes to halftime shows at the NFL, are people actually watching the halftime shows for a political message? She's talking about they didn't focus on the movement, mainly because they didn't involve Colin Kaepernick in any of this.
All the problems that the NFL has been accused of are still there. They are still active. They know that they have a PR problem. The reason we know they have a PR problem is because they did put all of this diversity in front of the camera. Now, that's a good thing. All of these Black performers deserve those opportunities and should be showcased, but that is not enough. What Brian Flores is fighting for, what Colin Kaepernick was robbed of, is economic opportunity in the NFL, and that.
She's lying. Colin Kaepernick had every opportunity. Remember, Colin Kaepernick, when he actually was not in the NFL anymore, remember, he opted out his contract. He opted out. People don't talk about that. Colin Kaepernick opted out of his contract. And I'm not even going to play this last 4 seconds here. You guys got the gist of it, man. They are so triggered that the NFL did not focus on Colin Kaepernick. CNN is a complete joke. A complete joke. All they're going to do is just get woke idiots up there to virtue signal, that kind of thing. That's all they care about. All they care about is a far leftist agenda. That's it. Colin Kaepernick has nothing to do with this Super Bowl. Why? Because he's not playing in the Super Bowl. He's not playing it. He's not some kind of a pioneer. This man is a fake victim. A fake victim. The NFL actually honored Black people, the first Black people to actually get into the NFL when they were actually facing real racism. Colin Kaepernick never faced any of that. He's a fake victim, a fake liar. That is all he is. And Colin Kaepernick, man, the grift is strong, man, because Colin Kaepernick, as we said before, has made a ton of money by being a professional victim. So the NFL, they put out all these Black people. That's fine. I didn't even really notice, to tell you the truth, that it was mostly all Black people. I really didn't know from the pregame until halftime. The halftime, obviously, because you had the West Coast hip hop artists out there, Dr. Dre, Snoop, Mary J. Blige, et cetera, and of course, Eminem, white guy, he's in there too. These people at CNN are so focused on race, man. They really want to turn back the clock. They really, really do. And you know that they were going to weaponize this whole Brian Flores thing because it's all about race to them. With Brian Flores, it's all about race too. I already said, guys, he's actually suing the Texans too for basically not hiring him. Just because you interview for a job doesn't guarantee that you should actually get the job. This is ridiculous, man. CNN is a complete joke. This is why their ratings are in the trash, folks. It is absolutely in the trash. And I don't see how CNN can ever recover, man. They're a complete joke. I mean, they even tried, and I know this ain't a sports thing, but they tried to compare Joe Rogan's use of the N-word to January 6th. Think about that, guys. Really, just step back and think about that. CNN is a propaganda network and nothing more. A garbage tier news network. That's just my thoughts on this. What do you guys think of this? Black and white sports fans, let us know what you think about all this in the comments. Make sure to subscribe to Black and White Sports, and we'll catch you next time.
Thanks for watching the show. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Be sure to tune in next time on Black and White Sports.